It is time to touch our bags and drop our sack on this edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report. You got questions, you're in luck. I got answers as we answer your rumors, mailbag questions, some trade ideas, some thoughts on this Chiefs team, where things stand right now. We'll react to it all here on today's show. This comes from the live show we do each and every Tuesday afternoon, and you may be saying to yourself, man, I would love to be a part of a mailbag. I would love to have Tyler Jones answer my questions. Well, you can do so by subscribing to the channel and join us for our next live show here on the Chiefs Report. Subscribe now, turn on notifications. You'll be the first to know when we have new content, whether it's breaking news, a live show, watch parties. Join the Noti Gang. If you're in the Noti Gang, spam Noti Gang in the comments section. We'll get started with today's show. KC Mo. Whoa. Writes in, could the Chiefs make a trade for Budda Baker? Budda. Budda Baker, there's a decent chance that he gets dealt at the trade deadline. I feel like I've been talking about that for 2 years, though, with Budda Baker, as the Cardinals have been a mess. They've been a dumpster fire, and he's still there. And you look at the Chiefs' safety room, I think that you have some good pieces there, but we'd be lying to ourselves if we sat here and said Budda Baker would not make this group better. And the corner position has some question marks. You could make the corner spot feel a lot better if Budda Baker's playing safety and he can kind of bail out the corners a little bit as well. So with that said, another point I'd bring up on the Budda Baker potential trade is the trade value on Budda Baker has gone down a lot from what it once was. When he first was talked about as a trade candidate 2 years ago, the idea was a first-round pick or maybe a second-round pick. Now I think you might be able to get him for a third at this juncture. So let's just see where the price tag is at. I don't think you're trading for him tomorrow, but if he's available when the trade deadline rolls around, maybe we can have that discussion. But that's not something I'm opposed to later on, but at least for now, I lean towards no, just kind of see how this defense plays out, see where they go from here, and then we can have the discussion potentially later. Should the Chiefs trade for Budda Baker? It's our pinned comment today. Weigh in, let us know what you think. T for trade, P for pass. Chime in and let us know. You might get an ad break while the ad's playing. As Tom Downey would say, take advantage of it. And get your votes in. T for trade, P for pass. Weigh in, let us know. Tony writes in. Tony the Tiger. Good to see you, Tony. What can the Chiefs bring in a trade deadline? 1 edge rusher, 2 wide receivers. To be honest, I'm not worried, but we need someone to fill in. Tony, when it comes to the trade deadline, I'm looking at wideout and I'm looking at corner. Those are the things I'm narrowing in on when it comes to the trade deadline. But I want to see just how does this go. Think about this. You're 3-0, beating some good teams, beating some good quarterbacks the last 3 weeks. But does it hold up? How are you going to look against the Saints? How are you going to look against the Niners and some of these other teams over the next few weeks? If the Chiefs continue to work through this, maybe you don't need to do anything at all. But if they get exposed, if it starts to cost them games, then that's a different discussion. Then we might sit here and say, you know what, yeah, maybe it is time to make a trade. But for now, it's not costing you in the win-loss column, so there's no sense of urgency. Until it hurts them in the win-loss column, I don't see a sense of urgency necessarily when it comes to making those moves. But keep your eye out. We'll see what they do. I don't even know how to say this. Is it Gour? Gour 90086? How do you see the running back situation playing out once Kareem Hunt is activated? So I expect Kareem Hunt to be activated for the Chiefs game against the Chargers coming up on Sunday. And here's how I think the roles are kind of divvied up with Isaiah Pacheco out. I think Carson Steele is your bell cow. He is the main guy that you use the most. I don't expect him to be breaking out for any 60 and 70-yard runs by any stretch of the imagination, but he's your bell cow that has the responsibility to get me 4 and 5 yards at a time. Samaje Perine is going to be your main receiving back. which is a big key to the Andy Reid offense, is having those receiving backs. It goes all the way back to when he coached Brian Westbrook with the Philadelphia Eagles. He loves running backs that can catch. They use it as a substitute for the run game when it comes to screen passing and the short passing game. I think that's P. Ryan's role. And then Kareem Hunt, where I think he comes in, is short yardage situations inside the red zone to be your power back. You got 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. You're at the goal line. That's when you bring in Kareem Hunt. He's not as fast as he used to be, but he's still built like an ox. I mean, the dude is massive. So that's where I see him coming in. Remember, he had, 8, 9 touchdowns with the Browns last year. So I think it kind of gets split up that way. It's not going to be just one guy replacing Isaiah Pacheco. It's going to take a few guys. And I think I'm optimistic from what I saw in that Falcons game that the Chiefs' run game is going to be okay. Tony says, what are the biggest keys to victory against the Chargers? Well, glad you asked. We talked about this on the channel. Got a video out this week on our keys to victory. And here they are. Here's the short version. More Rashee Rice. Rashee Rice is on fire to start the season. I want to continue to feed him. I want to eat all the rice. I want fried rice. I want brown rice. I want white rice. All the rice. More Rashee Rice. Establish the run. Get those 4 and 5 yards of carry. Set the tone with the run game. Aggressive with the pass rush. Take advantage of that depleted Chargers offensive line with Chris Jones and Karlaftis. Take care of the football. Mahomes got to cut back on those turnovers and let Nick Bolton fly. I like what I've seen from Nick Bolton. I want more of it from Nick Bolton here in the coming weeks. Chiefs fan for life writes in, do you think the Chiefs should consider trading for Khalil Herbert? That was one we talked about last week of an idea. And I got to tell you, Khalil Herbert's not a bad idea. The Bears have kind of phased him out of their offense. I think Khalil is a good running back. I liked him when he was at KU, but I would say that it's going to probably take an injury for the Chiefs to make a trade at the running back spot, another one besides Pacheco. But Khalil Herbert is one to kind of keep on the radar for when the trade deadline rolls around there. Terrence writes in as Big Tex pulls up the other question. What do you think about our DBs so far? You know, the DBs for the Chiefs, I think they've held their own. This was a big question mark for the Kansas City Chiefs heading into this year is what they would do with these DBs without having L'Jarius Sneed there. Trent McDuffie stepped up. Justin Reid's looked good. I think they've been fine. They've passed the smell test at this point. They still have more tests to go, but I think it's better than what people thought it was going to be when it comes to these DBs so far to this point. F the Chargers writes in, would it make sense for the Chiefs to trade for Devin Singletary? So that's another potential running back trade option for the Chiefs. Singletary's been solid for the New York Giants. I think the Giants are eventually going to fade, potentially at the trade deadline, and selling guys off like Singletary, maybe Dexter Lawrence and a few others there. But you look at Singletary, close to 5 yards carry, 2 touchdowns, had close to 1,000 yards last year. I think Singletary, it would have to be a setback on Pacheco. If Pacheco doesn't get right, if he doesn't get back to 100%, then you start to look at your options and maybe make a big play for a guy like Singletary. But if he's progressing fine, if he's heading the right direction, then I think they roll with what they got. But keep an eye on Singletary potentially if another running back injury goes down. Should the Chiefs trade for Devin Singletary? Type Y for yes, in for no. Way in the comments section. Let us know if you think the Chiefs should trade for Singletary or not. Last question in the mailbag this week comes from Jerry. Jerry. What do you think will happen to Rice next year? I think a suspension is probably coming next year. Probably not this year. The legal process is going to let itself play out. Then the league probably hands down a suspension. I don't know how long. Anywhere from 6 to 8 games probably. And then hopefully you get him back and he plays at a high level like he's doing this year. I think that's in all likelihood, what you're going to face. For continuing Chiefs coverage, subscribe to the channel now. Turn on notifications so you never miss a moment. I'm Tyler Jones. We'll see you next time.